Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back. So, I at work last week, I think it was last week, I had a meeting with my boss. And so I want to, I'm very upset about something.
Yeah.
And it's not even that I want your opinion because I think I'm going to be upset about it anyway, but it's a really strange story. So, over the holiday, clearly there was, Christmas week, New Year's week. It's so many people take vacation and stuff that nothing's really, from the business perspective of a hospital, not nearly as much as getting accomplished.
Right.
All the normal patient care, nurses, doctors, all that stuff is there. But, we're nursing informatics now. So there's not a lot of that stuff getting accomplished because everybody's on their own vacations. And so very few people in and out of the office. I don't work from home that often, but over the holidays, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take some advantage of working from home.
Yeah.
There was a day that fast forward to this week or last week. I have a meeting with my boss who is going to be out of town like last Friday or something like that. She's like, oh, you're here tomorrow, aren't you? And I said, yeah. And she's like, oh, can you cover for me? And cover, not like, oh, he tell people I'm here. Cover just means if anything goes down, you take charge of it because you'll be here or whatever in my absence. I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And she goes, oh, yeah, by the way, can you make sure that next time, like if you tell me that you're going to cover for me, that you're actually here and on site and not like working from home or whatever instead? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she goes, well, this, blah, blah, blah. This one particular Friday, she's like, you told me you'd cover for me and you weren't here. You decided to take
Were you not?
You decided to take the Well, so this is where it gets tricky to explain. I was. And I even said to her, because we ended up having a joint commission resurvey that day. It was over the holiday. They came in for a one-day resurvey of our previous findings that we had. So I said, I said, I don't know what day you're talking about. And she's like, oh, the day of the survey. And I said, but I was here. I said, and I saw you here as well. And she's like, oh, yeah, because of the survey, I came in. Even though I was supposed to be on vacation, I was still local. And I saw that they were there for the survey. So I came in and I said, I was here, though. I said, I sat down with the surveyor and went through all our restraint documentation. I was the one who was doing that with the surveyor to get the information out that we had to do. And she goes, oh yeah, that's right. I do remember you doing that. But, somebody, told me that they had to call you in from home because you were working from home. And I was like, no, I don't know, for one, who would have well, I kind of have a feeling of who I think told her this. I don't know why somebody, long story. But here's my dilemma. So I'm very pissed off because I'm getting in trouble for something I didn't even do.
Right.
I was at work being told that I wasn't at work. And granted, I'm not getting in trouble, but I seriously think that she's lost some faith in me for something that didn't even happen. Like, I was there, I was at work, I got to work at 7:45 or something like that day, because we get text messages in the morning that the Joint Commission was coming in. So I was like, well, shit, Joint Commission's coming in, I better make sure I get to work. Now, this is the tricky part. I forgot that I told her I was going to cover for her this day, because she was gone the entire week, and I was just covering for her for a handful of days.
Okay.
I did think about working from home that day. I had planned on working from home that day, forgetting I was doing this.
You just happened to come in because of the survey.
We got the text message, so I was like, well, shit, I'm just not going to work from home and make sure I'm there and that we can go through this, survey and everything. So
was there another day that week that you were supposed to be coming for her that maybe she could be confusing with the day of the survey?
No, because she specifically said it was the survey day.
Well, I know, but I mean,
well, she specifically
she was already wrong there, so I'm wondering if the wrongness could have extended further.
Well, and she says the reason she knew is because I guess she asked, and I didn't go down to no, I'm pretty sure she is talking about the survey day, because I did. She said that she had to ask somebody where I was, and they said I came in because of the survey. Like, I was on my way in because of the survey. But we're talking at 10 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I was there already, but before 8, because I got the text message super early in the morning and went into work. So I'm pretty confident she is talking about the day. I did work from home a different day of the week, but it was not a day that I told her I was covering for on.
Okay.
But at the same time, like I said, I did forget that I had told her I was
You
going
would
to
have
go.
been at home if
Yes.
it wasn't for the survey.
And like I said,
basically.
that's where my dilemma is, because
I don't think that's a dilemma though, because you were there, so she's wrong, and you were there covering for her. Period.
Yes.
Well, you weren't covering for her. You didn't know.
Because she was actually there too. Like,
well, that too, right?
She went in. But like I'm pissed off at this person, and like I don't even know. I didn't tell anybody I was working from home. I just knew it was going to be pretty empty and thought it would be pretty easy. And the deal is, anyway, I live 3 miles from my hospital. If something happens, I can be there within 20 minutes because I'm right down the street. So when I work from home, it's not like I will never, ever, ever go into the hospital. Shit hits the fan, I'm on the way. You know, it's that's part of what working from home is. That's why I tell my team, hey, if you're working from home on these days, if you're actually working, if something happens, you are on the way in. Like, that's how it works. And like,
right,
we all know that working from home doesn't mean
well, your position isn't one where human lives are at risk anyways, right?
Well, yeah, it is, because it's when shit hits the fan, it's like a downtime, like the EHR system will go down or something like that, and we have to come in. So
the doctors or nurses couldn't do their jobs. Got it.
Right. Or it is not when like when we have joint commission surveys or something like that, my team runs the surveys. Excuse me, runs the surveyors. Like whenever anything they need from the medical record, we are the ones responsible for showing it to them or getting it for them. Like that comes from my team. So we have to, give surveyors whatever they ask for when they come in from the regulatory bodies. So that is something we do have to do.
Gotcha.
So maybe not life or death for the surveyor, but an important part of the job to keep certifications and, be able to still function as a hospital, because they could theoretically take away your stuff. But it's just weird because I'm very pissed off, but at the same time, it's just like, well, but at the same, there was a possibility. It's coincidence that I actually was there. So I would have let her down, but I didn't. But she doesn't know that I was thinking about doing that for some reason.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I wasn't there.
The fact that you didn't makes it okay, in my opinion.
It's just so it's such a weird situation, because I'm like, oh, I'm so like, I want to be furious and try to like shout from the rooftops that no, I didn't let you down, but at the same time, that coincidence, I didn't let you down. I could have easily let you down because I forgot, but I didn't. Coincidentally,
right? Nah, I think I'm still on your side on this one though, because you were there.
Do you think Cone would be?
Who knows with Cone, man? It's all over the place.
And now I just want to know, like, why the hell is somebody randomly, especially
that's kind of bullshit though.
Yeah,
like,
why is somebody randomly saying like, oh yeah, he's working from home, we have to call him in? Who the fuck just said that? What? Like, why is somebody against me like this, trying to make me look bad to?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
To her, I don't know.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like your job is not like one of those cutthroat jobs either, where like they have something to gain. They're gonna like take your position by being an asshole.
No, but if it is the person I think it is, she's a very interesting person who. Her and I don't necessarily see eye to eye on a lot of things. We don't ever fight. We have to collaborate all the time too, because of the nature of what her job is and what my job is. We're the same level. But she's the only person I can think of that would do this, because she constantly says things to almost like make herself look better in some ways, or make it look like she does more work. But it's funny because I don't think she's. I don't. It's very strange. This is very strange. And I'll tell you, and I've had problems with her in the past, and I've had to go through one of our other mutual colleagues and be like, what is happening right now? Because this big go live that is happening, that is on the line and potentially going to get canceled, she's blaming it on me and saying it's my fault, but I have nothing to do with this. And this other mutual third party is like, don't worry, we all know. We're just kind of letting her ride out because that's the way she is. Okay. But that was a couple of years ago. So I just don't know. And I don't know if it really was that person, but that's the only person I can think of that it could have possibly been.
That's rough.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I have to interface with her every day, all the time. I do a lot of favors for her.
Yeah.
I do a lot of report writing that nobody else can do. And within, like, people who aren't trained to do this, like nurses are not very technologically savvy for the most part, to a very technical level. Like they can work, iPhones and Androids and like devices and all, but they can't like write SQL code. The average nurse doesn't get trained in how to do that. I'm former IT and nursing informatics. I can do that, so I supply people with a lot of reports that they otherwise can't get and can't do themselves. So she relies on me for a lot of shit because she needs the stuff to do her job, and I will on the fly make her things as she needs them or to make it easier. So I don't know why she'd want to get rid of me, because she's not going to get somebody that's going to bend over backwards for her stuff like I will in the future, or that has the skill set to do it.
I mean, she might, but
I mean, it's possible. But in general, even nursing informatics, like if you looked at a nursing informatics curriculum, or if you took a nursing informatics curriculum, you'd learn nothing about IT in there.
Right.
Which is weird, because that's exactly what nursing informatics is supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's like IT of the nursing world, but they don't teach you. We had one databases class in my whole nursing informatics curriculum.
I feel like that's weird. I feel like that happens with a lot of jobs, though, where like you don't cover the curriculum that's needed for the job.
Right. And in the final product that you turned in, I was the only that in my class. They put you into teams. So there was like 10 teams or something like that of I think three people apiece. I think we were the only team that turned in an actual database or some database files because I made them. Everybody else turned in an Excel spreadsheet and said this is what we would put in a database, which was not the intent of the class, but everybody passed just fine. Like, so it just shows you what nursing informatics curriculum really is. It's not super technical. And so report writing and stuff is like a learned skill for a lot of people, and especially with the languages they give us to do report writing. Okay. Walls are done.
Nice. All of them?
All of the pillars are done.
Okay. I'm working on the last.
Making sure they don't catch on fire. Oh, do we do something in the corners? What are we doing in the corners?
So we only did one corner that we tested. We're going to need to get more glowstone, but I think it looks good.
Okay,
if you look
so
at that
we're going to go with glowstone in those corners.
I think it looks good. But yeah, we need to get more glowstone. So I had a question. You're a renter. You have a tenant.
I've rented in the past.
Well, no.
I'm a tenant.
That's the word.
Me, a leaseor.
A leaseor? Is that the word?
There's leaseors and leasees.
Leaseor. It sounds like some shit from a fucking.
I am leaseor.
Yeah, right. Me leaseor.
I'm a landlord, though. Yes.
Yeah,
is that the word you're looking for? Yes.
Do you, as a landlord, like let's say you rented a house. It's a little bit different because you rent the little flat underneath you or whatever. Let's say you had a standalone house, and they plastered it with like Donald Trump flags.
I personally think that unless something was explicitly stated in the rental agreement, that you can't stop somebody from advertising their rights at the place that they legally occupy.
Right. I don't think you can have that in your lease agreement, period, because it's freedom of speech.
But it's freedom. It could be freedom of speech, but if I technically own that property,
yeah, but I think it's discrimination. See, that's what I don't know. I'm not 100%. I know in terms of a workplace, you can't discriminate based on political beliefs and stuff like that.
But at the same time, there's many jobs that don't let you put things of political what do you call it? Your political views and stuff like out in the open, because it could be offensive to other people. Right. I know for a fact that government employees are not allowed to, but I think that's different because that's based on,
that makes sense. Right.
But I think, I'm not sure if it's, because I don't think that would constitute a
discrimination.
First Amendment discrimination by saying you cannot put something that is like or campaigning for like whoever you campaign for or whatever. Like,
right. So here's my situation. So I rent a property to my so my uncle, whenever he passed away, he left actually he didn't whenever his wife passed away, they left their house to me and one of my cousins. So we all together. She has 2 sons. One of those sons lives in one of those houses. A few days ago, he hung the world's largest Trump flag off the front banister of the house. Okay. And it's just gross. And I hate it. But
are you trying to figure out if there's something you can do about it?
no, I'm not gonna do anything. I already know what I'm gonna do, and what I'm gonna do is nothing. Because for one thing, I own the house with his mother, who is also a Trump supporter.
Okay.
So
So she's
I
not
imagine
gonna
if I
let you
went
make
to
it.
her and was like, "Hey, this flag is fucking stupid," like she'd be like, "I love Trump too."
I love lamp. I mean
Yeah.
Trump.
So, I mean, I feel like it's not going to go well either way. But I really just kind of want to discuss I mean, basically, I already know what I'm going to do, and what I'm going to do is nothing. Like this isn't an
and
issue that
and
I
I,
feel.
as I
Yeah.
don't think you should, because I I think it would be wrong if I were to say, like, Julia's got a bunch of stuff in the front of our house about, supporting DACA and the Dreamers Act, and all that stuff is like on some of our windows up front. She had Hillary campaign signs in the driver. Remember when my video that went viral because I'm such a upstanding citizen in everybody's eyes. I had people literally in the comments talking about how they couldn't believe I had a Hillary sign in the driveway, followed by a comment that said, "I can't believe I have a Trump sign in the driveway."
Wait, did you have a Trump sign?
No, it was the same sign. People couldn't fucking read it. They just decided it said something.
Jesus
And
Christ!
it really did. It was a Hillary sign, so those people were correct. But there was just as many people who thought it was a Trump sign because you couldn't read the fucking sign. All you could see was the side angle of it that showed it was like a political sign. And so some people guessed it correctly, but you couldn't read it. And people were literally inferring whatever the fuck they wanted to infer on how they wanted to get angry with me about the whole video in general.
So in my case, my aunt and uncle were both Democrats, and I know for a fact that they wouldn't have been cool with this. So this used to be their house. This is where they lived. This wasn't even because they had a rental property beside their house. But this is the house my aunt and uncle lived in their whole life. They had it built. And they were both Democrats. So I know they would be like, oh, that's all. They also would think it was gross. So like that's also part of my thought process is like my uncle wouldn't be cool with this. That's his house. I mean, it's not anymore. He's dead. It's my house, but part of me still thinks of it as his house. You know what I mean?
Right. But
So like that's also like in the back of my mind, like he wouldn't be cool with this shit flying on the front of his house.
sure, but still.
Again, I'm not doing anything, but
Yeah, as much as I it doesn't agree with my viewpoint, I still if our downstairs neighbor decided that she wanted to hang pro-Trump stuff up downstairs, granted she won't, but if she decided to flip over to be a Republican and did that, I couldn't stop her. And I don't think I should be.
You might could. I don't actually know the law, but what do you think Julia would do? Because I feel like you'd be pretty chill, but I don't think she would.
So that's where it gets a little bit tricky, is because is there some type of stipulation in the law where you feel that since you're the one who owns the property, them advertising something that you're completely against, what if they put up a sign, let's ignore that, Trump directly, but go for one of the big topics, and either we're pro or anti-abortion or something like that, which is whatever one is the opposite of your case. Do you now all of a sudden feel, or what if it was a completely an anti-abortion thing, but the owner of the house was an abortion doctor? That's what they did all day long, or worked at Planned Parenthood or something like that. Does it now kind of hinder you in your profession and your livelihood because people associate that with you, even though it has nothing to do with you because you own the place?
Right.
And I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that's a bigger deal there. Like that your example there is definitely a bigger deal than my example for sure.
Yeah, because yours is but it can be. I mean, it kind of all comes back to the same thing. It's
a little bit.
So I don't know. So it's a tricky one, that's for sure. I would not want to ever take away somebody's right to go after or to advertise for whoever they want to advertise for, but
I prefer it because it lets me know where the crazy people live.
That's true. But does it hurt you? But what if you rented out your basement and it was in your lawn? Because
now see then
is it affecting you?
Yeah, it definitely is. If I have to come out in the front of my house and see that shit in my yard, yeah. See, I guess that's honestly your case. Your scenario is way bigger than my scenario because. Yes, if I was living in your case and renting the way you do, and I had to walk out the front of my house and see the shit on my front lawn, yeah, I would be like, get that shit out of here. So I mean, I'm also, you know, like, I mean, I don't feel the need to fly
Oops. I went straight
a
on.
flag. And also, while we're on this subject, has there ever been another fucking president that they're making flags? I've never seen this fanaticism. Oh my god,
Sorry.
that's a big ass fucking hole you've made here. Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck,
I dug
man?
it straight down because I'm about to fill it in with what it's supposed to be filled in with.
What's it supposed to be filled in with? It almost
These,
filled in with my death.
I mean,
Holy shit, that scared me.
It could be that. That could be something.
God, I don't remember what I was gonna say now. Like
About making flags, like what other president has.
Oh yeah,
flags
yeah.
and
Like
stuff.
I mean, I've never seen this happen other than with Trump. Like it's the only president I know of that has people flying fucking flags. Like he's God Emperor or something.
I mean, isn't he?
That's what some of them call him.
It's yeah. I don't know actually. I've never. I wonder like who was the guy that was like, you know what? Let's make Trump flags.
Well, whoever it is fucking rich. It's probably the Trump campaign. Probably all that money goes to his campaign. Honestly,
It's a good possibility.
but like I've never seen an Obama flag, or you know any other president. I feel like Democrats are less likely to do that sort of thing. So but I wanted to give a fair example. I don't know.
We gotta do the other one.
But yeah, I was kind of curious. There's so many people around here that fly Trump flags on their.
Yeah, I keep forgetting because you're so on the Democratic side that you are from a state that is so heavily Republican.
Yeah. No, like I mean, again, what I was about to say before I went on the tangent about where the fuck did we start flying flags for presidents, was I would be afraid to fly a burning flag in my yard, probably get my house burned down.
That's possibly true. I think I'd be afraid to fly a Trump flag here because get your house burned down because DC is such a Democratic.
Oh yeah. Like where I thought you meant here, I was like, no, shit, you'll fit right in.
Granted, I did go to a debate watching party at a bar when this was back in Obama's re-election year, and it was funny because it was being hosted by there was a bunch of Republicans that were there because they were the ones throwing the quote unquote debate watching party. We just happened to go to a bar to watch the debate, and they had like a big cake with Mitt Romney. Was it Mitt Romney? It was Mitt Romney, right?
Probably, yeah.
With his like campaign and stuff on it, and they were like. They were very openly Republican, but they were all very respectable, people. They weren't going crazy and like doing anything like off the wall. So nobody was getting mad at them. But you got areas that are completely the opposite as well.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Like, there's no one right here I could talk to it about. Even that's why. Well, actually, I told my grandma because she's also a Democrat, and I told her, and
she was like, "You want me to have another heart attack?"
Well, today she had a doctor appointment, and she was like, "Take me to see this flag."
Take me to the flag.
Yeah,
she
so I
like
had
get
to,
down
like,
on her
drive
knees
by,
and start like worshiping
and
it.
like there's something wrong with her eyes. She's got some infection. She got drops for today, but she was like having trouble seeing, and she's like, slow down more." And I'm going like 20, and I'm like, they're gonna know we're staring at their flag, and she's like, I don't care, they can know, slow down.
She like want to salute it.
She really wanted to see how big it was because I told her it's just this giant flag, and she just needed to see it. She needed to gossip about it too. Apparently, she like I saw her later in the day, and she like told like 6 people already.
Like, but is she saying it? What's her?
She just wanted to see it.
But what's her affiliation?
Oh, she's Democrat.
Okay, so she is not. She didn't want to see it because she was like how great it was.
No.
She just wanted to see the
She
size
couldn't believe.
of-
Yeah, and she was like, Ruby was her sister. She's like, Ruby would have hated that, and I was like, yeah, probably. So.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I'm curious on the legalities of.
That's yeah.
Of
I'm not
renting.
100% certain where that falls, honestly.
Yeah, can you stop somebody from doing that if it's in your rental agreement? Or I do
like, even
wonder,
if it's not in the agreement, like just period, be
Yeah,
like, hey,
because if it brings it
I
back,
couldn't
like,
foresee this, but now that I've seen it, stop it.
Well, and it's kind of interesting too because it could go. Well, I mean, let's go to a real crazy extreme case. It is completely illegal to be a child rapist and pedophile. But can you? Is it illegal to fly a flag that says "I love pedophiles" or something like that?
I mean, I feel like that's one of those things that like self-regulates. Your house
Well,
literally does burn
sure,
down.
sure, but taking it to an extreme, if it's not
Yeah,
illegal to do that, like to fly a flag like that, and I don't know if it is or not. Like maybe it is. Maybe you're not allowed. Maybe there's some obscure law where you can't like, you know,
support
praise
illegal
like
things.
crimes or something like that. I just don't know. But let's say it
Mhm.
is. Could you win in a lawsuit on that, or is the judge just gonna be like, well, sorry, you read to him like it's free speech. Everybody's
Yeah.
gonna like, no, you're just gonna be the known loving pedophile house, you know.
Well, I mean, as a DC landlord, you know how crazy renter law can be.
Yeah, they could be very tenant friendly. That's for sure.
Uh,
I would. Yeah, I'm. There's probably some off the wall cases that have had to go through, like, you know, the landlord courts or whatever they call them.
right.
Not the landlord, but the DC rental authority places and dispute settling for this stuff. But I'd
I'd
love
love
to
to
hear
know some of the most obscure
Oh,
ones.
yes, it would be. It could definitely. I wonder if I can find any like case law. We can make a whole video just reading.
There's
some
probably
of the
some
cases.
site that like keeps track of this sort of thing, honestly.
It probably is. But yeah, yeah, because there's so many different things that would be not necessarily illegal, but could make a person just be, you know, completely like looked at in a bad way
What
by the
bothered me more than
community.
anything was that this was my cousin that I always saw as a level-headed, rational, intelligent person. Like even when we were growing up and we were kids, like one cousin was like redneck asshole. Like, I mean, not that if you're a redneck, you're an asshole, but like one of them was like totally like kind of dumb. I don't know how to describe it really, but like just kind of a meathead. And then the other one was like into computers and always seemed really smart. And like him and I got along really well. He was older though, so we didn't like hang out as much because he said he was older. Um, but so that's the one that's written in the house, the one that I always saw as the level-headed, kind of intelligent guy. And then I see this, and I'm like, oh no.
And faith gone.
Yep.
I mean, I can never. Trying to think of how I put this in the most politically correct way while still showing, like, if you voted for Trump and at the time thought that he could do so great things for the country and this and that, I don't have lost respect. I have not lost respect for you per se. If at today you still think he's the greatest man ever, the respect is gone.
Yeah.
It's
It's absurd.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a news article. I thought today that some regulatory body of some type with the government. Oh God, what the hell was it called? I don't remember what it is, but they've looked into the Ukraine aid thing and deemed that what he did was illegal. And like this is some official ruling of some type from some like ethics committee.
Right. It doesn't matter.
And well, you're right. It absolutely doesn't matter. But when whatever committee it is has ruled this way. How then do you still have an argument that the impeachment is just a witch hunt?
I mean that
Like, it doesn't. You can't even physically make that argument anymore, right?
Yeah, you can. That committee's just a bunch of political deep state left wing people, period.
Okay, you're right. I guess you can make that argument in that way.
It's the Government Accountability Office is the one.
Government Accountability Office. It's just so it's just so weird. It's to hear like, oh, the Accountability Office has deemed this was completely illegal to do, yet the defense for the non-impeachment is nope, it was completely legal. This is a witch hunt.
Yeah,
Happening
and that's
at the
where
same
it's going to
time.
finish at too. Like that's how it ends. Like it's not gonna nothing's going to change.
So yeah, maybe these class action lawsuits aren't as bad off as some other things are. Because there's some major problems going on.
Right. Well, with that, let's end it here before we end up 50 minutes into another episode. So,
All right.
thanks for watching, everybody.
See you guys.